my channel. Today is going to be a super casual one. I've been kind of getting into more just letting it all come out and just giving you a little bit more of my thoughts on motherhood, on navigating new motherhood, how we can really nourish ourselves as mothers and enjoy the process a bit more because I don't know about you, but all I see at the moment is Instagram, YouTube, all of those social media outlets talking about how hard parenting is. And yes, it is so hard, but I'm here to tell you that it doesn't need to be that hard and that there can be moments of joy and ease and ways that you can reduce your stress overall. So, if this is the first time you're here, welcome to a slightly different video. My name is Kitty. I'm a registered general nurse as well as a lactation consultant, a birth and postpartum doula, hypnobirthing instructor, and antenatal educator. And I'm also called Mama by three little people. And I love to share everything from trying to conceive, pregnancy, birth, postpartum, breastfeeding, gentle parenting, all of that kind of thing. So do check out my other videos if you're interested in learning more about that kind of content. And thank you so much for being here. At the moment, I'm filming in my son's room. Both of my boys are asleep, snuggling each other in the family bed, and I am trying to be loud enough that you can hear me, but not too loud that I'm going to wake them. So, without further ado, this video is going to be about easy ways that you can mind yourself as a parent. So whether that is a new parent or whether you are a mum of pre-teenagers or teenagers or whatever, we all know how difficult it is to squeeze in those little nuggets of time for you. And I don't think it's all about going out and getting your nails done or getting your eyelash extensions. That clearly is not something that I do, and there have been other things that have made it easier and more maintainable for me to be able to mind myself in a way that feels good. So I'm going to share with you some of my top things that I've been implementing recently, and I hope that they're helpful for you. The minute that my babies turn a year old, I feel like all of a sudden I step back into myself a little bit. So I've been able to, now that Archer is one, sit back and look at like what are the things that I've done to help myself feel more like myself and more nourished in this journey. And some of them I'm only implementing now, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about why and how I have gotten started on that. And I've got a little list in front of me. So we're just going to dive right in. The first one is to buy clothes and wear clothes that actually fit your body type. So for me, my shoe size changed, my hips changed, my rib cage expanded after pregnancy, and I felt awful for a really long time. This was something that I've really only done quite recently, and it was less so to do with like healthy eating and exercising and more so to do with this isn't a change that's going to stick around, and these are more permanent changes. And even if they're not, in the interim, I should be minding myself and feeling good in what I'm wearing. So instead of squeezing myself into jeans that were just never going to fit, I bought myself a pair of jeans that feel great. And I bought myself quite recently a pair of, oh my gosh, they're so fluffy, nice thick cozy tights that I can wear under my favorite dresses and feel good and feel lovely and feel comfortable and able to run around after my kids and not worry that my tummy's hanging out or just too much is showing. So that has been really, really nice, and that is something that I would absolutely be recommending you do, like almost from the get-go. Like for future pregnancies, I think I'm almost going to purchase a few bits and pieces as like a separate wardrobe for those first few months postpartum when everything is just softer. You're softer, you're leaky, you're all of the things. And I think it's really important to be like wearing comfortable, sort of buttery soft, lovely gooey clothing for the first while. So if you're watching this and you're pregnant, go buy yourself some nice supportive leggings, some comfy tops or like button down tops over, like I've been watching a couple of people recently who've just had babies and they're like nailing that like new mom uniform, which I never really got into, but I love the idea of that. And some of the things that I've been seeing have been like nice thick supportive leggings. They're like nice and high-waisted, they hold you in just enough to feel supported on that kind of soft belly area after birth. Nursing camis, like nursing little tank tops, and then like a jersey shirt over, like button down shirt over the top. It looks so cute and it's so easy. And they're things that you can buy now that you'll know will feel comfortable afterwards. Just go up a size or two. So that is my tip number one. The next tip then is something that I've really only started doing recently, and because my babies, both of them, even though Atticus is 3.5, Archer is 1, they still wake at night time, both of them, several times a night. So I'm probably getting woken between both of them maybe 4 times a night, and it's definitely made easier by the fact that they're in the bed. But one of the big things then that following a day of several wake ups is to mind myself, and that means for me eating breakfast every day. Eating breakfast, but also eating protein and fats first thing. So I used to be really bad for either just completely skipping breakfast and doing almost like an unofficial fasting window, which does not work for me at all because I would just be cranky and low energy and it just didn't feel good, honestly, and it's not good for your hormone production nor as a mother. Or I would be eating like naked carbs. So I'd be eating like the kids' leftovers, or like a bowl of cereal, or a smoothie, something that's just going to spike my sugars and then it was going to come straight back down again. So that was something that I knew I had to change as soon as. And now I'm eating like whole grain toast and like 2 eggs, if not three. And it's made my whole day so much better. Just being able to keep balanced blood sugar levels means that I'm more patient, I am less stressed, I manage the running of the day on less sleep so much better. So that would be something that I'd be saying start from now. The next thing then is honestly the most difficult thing, and this is something that's taken me a year to do, and that is accepting help. And by this I don't mean like people offering to do your dishes and saying yes. I mean, if somebody says like, can I help you, can I do that for you? Or for me, I'm kind of thinking specifically my partner. So if you're lucky enough to have a partner with you at home who you can co-parent with, or a really close friend, if they're doing things and they're offering to do things in a way that's maybe different from you, noting that, I'm talking to myself here, and just letting that happen. My partner is so capable of being kind and gentle and parenting my children in the way that he parents them. And something that I've noticed as like women as like the gatekeepers of their parenting their children is that I had this little thing in the back of my mind that was like, nobody could possibly be as kind, as gentle, do as well as parent as well as I could. And actually that was so wrong, and what I was doing was an injustice to my children and an injustice to my partner because it was standing in the way of their connection and their relationship, but also in my husband's ability to have that impact on our children and who they become as adults, and also an injustice to myself because I was making it so much more difficult for myself, when actually if I just step back and let him do what he needed to do and let him figure it out, if it was a case of, figuring out what it is that Archer is whinging about because he doesn't understand his communication yet, letting him learn his new way, letting him figure that out for himself. If it was, he isn't a great chef, and instead of me just stepping in and saying, oh, I'll just do that, it's fine, I'll make time in the day to do that, as at the moment the primary breadwinner, that was just another thing on my plate. Whereas I've stepped back and gone, okay, yeah, you know what? That's a really cool skill for you to learn, and that's awesome that you are feeding our family this evening. So stepping back and seeing that, and seeing how in many ways I was not doing anyone a favor by being that gatekeeper, and stopping the acceptance of help was like just not there. So that is huge. If you have someone who's willing to help you, let them do it. Even if it's someone you're paid, if it's paid help, if you have a postpartum doula coming in and they want to help you do the dishes and feed you, let them feed you. So the next thing then, and it's something that actually I'm like reminding myself to do as I'm reading this, and that is, you'll hear everyone saying drink more water, but I'm actually going to say drink more water with your electrolytes added. So recently I've been doing like a homemade electrolyte mix, or if I'm just on the go, I add one of those little tabs in. I'll link my favorite ones down here below, but it's a great way to really boost not only your energy levels, but also what happens is with just plain old water, it can run straight through you. The electrolytes is what helps push the hydration into your cells. So actually you won't need to drink as much water to stay hydrated, but it's hugely beneficial and something that I've only noticing myself feeling really good with when I do that. So adding it to my water bottle early in the morning and then just bringing that with me throughout the day as I go along. The next thing then, well, I'll actually make sure and link like the recipe that I've been making for my homemade electrolyte mix, but essentially it's just coconut water with a tiny, tiny drizzle of maple syrup or a splash of orange juice with a pinch of salt. Got all your electrolytes in there and it works so, so well. And it tastes kind of good too. The next thing then is getting to bed early. And this is something that I am always battling with as someone who runs their own business. I am always working late because I also love to be present with my children. So it means that oftentimes I'll stay up until like midnight, 1 o'clock, just so that I can be with them and then work at night times when they're asleep. And I know that it doesn't feel good the following day. So I've been trying instead to like batch my content and batch my calls so that it means that I can do them while my kids are awake, but it means that I can be 100% with them then when I am with them. So this for me means getting off my phone. Quite recently I've downloaded one of the blue light apps, so it actually, you can set it to turn on at a certain time and it then turns itself on, so it reduces that blue light, the intense blue light from your phone that keeps you then awake and keeps you from actually having a really restful sleep. So I've been really enjoying that, and that's been a really easy, like simple change to make. So getting to bed earlier for me looks something like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And it means then when my kids wake me up the following morning at like 6:30, I actually can get out of bed. Like I don't feel like this huge, like, oh my gosh, like somebody just like put an IV of caffeine or like just letting them like run riot around the room until eventually I can rouse myself. It's good. I've been feeling good. The next thing then that's also really easy to do is to add some prebiotics to your food. So I've recently learned how to make homemade sauerkraut, and it's so easy. It's literally like cabbage sliced up with like 2 tablespoons of salt, and you just massage it in until it gets all like juicy and lovely, and then just pound it down into a jar with maybe like a stone or like something, a weight, something heavy on top, so that it's all immersed under that nice saline mixture. And then after a day or so, when it's getting nice and bubbly, I just like squeeze it out and add a little portion to whatever it is that I'm eating. The kids actually love it as well, and it's so good for just the gut microbiome and keeping everyone nice and regular and supported, particularly at this time of year when there's always like flus and snots and colds going around. It's been really, really nice and so easy to make at home. You can also find it in the Polish aisle in Lidl and Aldi, which is awesome, or Tesco's actually do it as well. So super cheap and a really easy thing that you can just add to like your salads or your sandwiches or whatever it is. The next thing is kind of coming back to not managing on much sleep. And that is, if there is a day where I haven't got much rest, I will make sure, like, push myself out the door before 10 a.m. The goal is to have the sunlight, to have the vitamin D, the fresh air, the light of the sun directly into my eyes. I will oftentimes like not put on any SPF or anything and let all that lovely vitamin D penetrate into my skin and just soak it all up, as a way to like help set my circadian rhythm and help get me set up for the day. All of the sleep experts will stand by this, particularly for little ones who have not yet set their own circadian rhythm, who come out mixing up their nights and days. It can be hugely beneficial, but also if you are maybe trying to drop naps, or you are in a situation where you're really desperately hoping to cling on to your nap, like I am with my 3-year-old, because I think he still really needs it, and getting out in the fresh air before 10 a.m. hugely, hugely helps us. Honestly, helps us all as a family. The next thing then that I will do is I've started doing magnesium in an addition to my diet, my supplementation diet, supplementation habit, I guess. The list of supplements that I take, which isn't actually very many, mostly just an omega, a vitamin D, and then I've recently added in magnesium. Usually I'll do it in like a spray form, which I should have brought in with me today, but it's like a sea salt oil emulsion spray, and I just rub it on my calves in particularly, or on my chest or the inside of my wrists, where there's just like a nice thin layer of skin, so it's more easily absorbed. But equally, if I have time in the evenings, or maybe when I'm like prepping dinner and standing in one spot, I can make like a basin for like a little foot soak with Epsom salts in. I actually brought my favorite one with me. This one is just, oh, it's lush. It smells so good. So it's the West Lab Sleep, and it's just so yummy. 100% natural bath salts with lavender, jasmine and valerian, Epsom and Dead Sea salts. And it's just a really great way for magnesium to get into the system. So beneficial for us mamas, and really probably one of the top things that I feel like everyone should be supplementing with, just for nervous system regulation and for contractility of our muscles. So hugely beneficial. So you can use the spray. You can also get like sublingual sprays that you put underneath your tongue, and they're all really lovely. And the last thing then, and again, all of these are super easy, and this is if you're making coffee in like a hot press, like a French press, or whatever way you make your coffee, maybe it's instant coffee, add in a half a teaspoon of an adaptogen blend. So we're talking about medicinal mushrooms, we're talking about ashwagandha, we're talking about reishi is also another nice one. I actually use a blend by, I believe is it 7 C's? Maybe I'm wrong. I'll make sure and link it down below, and it's lovely because it's just got a nice little complex in there. And I'm really excited because I've also just ordered from a more local mushroom farm out in Carlow, which is only like an hour and a half away from us, which is really exciting to be supporting locally. So I'll make sure and leave them down below as well. Always nice to be supporting friends and family, and I'm really excited for those to come in. But that's a really easy way for me to just, adaptogens are so fantastic just for, again, nervous system regulation, but also if you are working at a very high stress level and your cortisol level is just like up to here, it can help to just sort of balance that level within your system and make sure that you're at a much more even keel for the day. So it's been really nice, and doesn't give me the same like jittery effect then that coffee would give me, which would be I would have like, you know, huge palpitations and just like racing heart and feeling quite anxious afterwards, and that's really kind of combated that, but given me that like nice even keel of energy throughout the day, and also just helped me to feel a little bit more settled in myself. So these are all really easy things that you can do like starting today. None of them are fancy, none of them are like you need to go and buy anything necessarily. A lot of the times you'll have these kinds of things at home, or you can pick them up in your local shop, and none of them are you have to go and leave your babies for, which is really nice. And it's, for me, doing a combination of these things has helped me feel more content, more together, more regulated. I've got more energy to be a parent, to be a mother, and I felt more supported, which we all know is so important in this phase of our lives. So let me know what your favorite like self-care habit is. It mightn't be this necessarily, it might be like moving your body, it might be getting your nails done, it might be going shopping, who knows. And I would love to hear what they are down below. But if you haven't got any self-care ideas, these are great ones to help you just feel good, feel on it. And I would love to hear how you get on in the comment section down below. But I'm going to see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.